episode of Missed Calls with Coach Miller. I am, in fact, Coach Chris Miller, and this episode is, many of them are, is brought to you by Home by SMCI. In case you haven't realized, it's starting to get a little hot. Man, I'm telling you what, I just spent all weekend sitting on a tractor and was out in the sun, put a little sunscreen on. It really didn't matter. I was hot, okay? What I like to do after a tough day of working on the farm is I like to come in and just sit in the air conditioner. You know, if your air conditioner isn't working, that's really not a good thing, man. I mean, you need that cool air to cool off. It's not good. It's not healthy. So if your air conditioner isn't working right now, you call Home by SMCI right now. They'll come in, take care of you. Know the people who run it. They're great people. They'll take care of you to make sure that you are taken care of in these hot days of summer. So give them a call. It's 636-337-4444. Email them at service@homebysmci.com. All right, so we're just going to jump right into things. Last week we talked about the changes in the rules for Missouri high school basketball. We're going to switch topics and kind of we're going to go a little pro today. And, you know, even though I was on a tractor and doing some hay and I was busy and didn't get a chance to see it, did get a chance at night to catch some of the highlights on TV of my beloved St. Louis Cardinals, who absolutely suck. Okay, I mean, that's just all there is to it. They absolutely suck. We'll probably talk about it at some point on the coach's box, but they suck. And coming into this broadcast right now, they just got swept by Pittsburgh in 3 games out at Pittsburgh. It was awful. They only scored 14 runs over that amount of time, left 27 runners on base. They currently sit 25-35, which is, wait for it, first place of dead last. So they are dead last in the National League again. They had a little run, kind of dug themselves out of a hole after starting 10-24 and played some great baseball. And all of a sudden, the wheels came off again, and they are now in last place. The good news is they are not in last place in Major League Baseball. There's the Kansas City Royals and the Oakland, soon-to-be Las Vegas Athletics, or whatever they want to change their name to, who are worse than them. And for people like me who are accustomed to seeing the Cardinals no lower than maybe third in the division, especially this time of the year, it's very troubling. The management for the team has not done a very good job. The roster construction has not been there. It's really bad. And they're sitting 7.5 back of the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, if history tells us anything, the Cardinals have the ability to put together a nice little run. We've counted them out before, and they make a great push in September. But these might not be those Cardinals. And a lot of the things that allowed that to happen was very good timely hitting, but more importantly, very good pitching. And that's something they just don't have. They have not went out and spent the money on the pitching. And I'll tell you right now, and the purpose of this podcast and this broadcast right now is to really, really go and discuss my absolute I just despise the way that John Mozeliak has constructed this team. Now, he is not the general manager anymore, okay? But he still runs the show. He's the president of baseball operations for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's the reason why we're sitting in this spot, okay? You can blame anybody else that you want. That's fine. You want to blame Marmol? He's not done a very good job either. But John Mozeliak is the reason why the Cardinals are struggling right now. You've got a Hall of Fame player in Nolan Arenado, who he's struggling and not playing exceptionally well. But let's face it, there ain't a lot of guys who are swinging the bat that they're not consistent. And here's why. Why would you want to go out there? You're playing from behind so many times because your pitching is so bad. They have one starter who has an ERA under 4. Surprisingly, it's Miles Michaelis, the guy that they did sign the big extension to. Now, he started out pretty terrible. And a lot of people were saying it was a stupid idea to give him an extension. And I don't disagree with those comments at that time. Now, Michaelis has been a kind of guy who can get ground ball outs. Sometimes he surprises you and gets some swing and miss and has a few strikeouts. But he's the most consistent pitcher that we have right now. And he's a guy who he's not really an ace. We don't have an ace. Everybody thought that, oh, Jack Flaherty will have a good season because it's his contract year. Jack Flaherty has not had a good season. Jack Flaherty is 3-4. Nobody cares about wins and losses when it comes to pitching, but it has a 4.55 ERA in 12 starts. Not necessarily ace material. And on top of that, he out of those 12 starts, he's only pitched 63 in a third inning. Not really ace material right there. And he's got 64 strikeouts, which is only 4 more than Miles Michaelis. So his swing and miss stuff is not happening either. And again, Michaelis is the epitome of ground ball pitcher, get you out, pitch deeper into ball games. I know with the analytics, which I absolutely hate. I don't think you can play baseball on a calculator. Well, you want to. I mean, yeah, it's great. But you cannot play baseball on a calculator. It's plain and simple. You want to fight, you want to argue about it all day long. Analytics are great. But the fact that the front office, John Mozeliak, and his puppet man, Ali Marmol, they've sold their souls on analytics being the dictator of everything, has allowed the Cardinals to now fall into this really weird spot where they have some talent, but they're just not good enough. And you might win a series against the Dodgers. You might win a series against a good team, but you can't go out there and beat the Pirates. The Pirates they're going to fade at some point, and they're going to fall back to earth. You can't go out and just whip the Reds. You can't go out and whip these other teams that you should be beating on a consistent basis. And the reason is because you're just not good enough. You look at Miles Michaelis. He has a 3.74 ERA. Yeah, I mean, he's your ace, but he's really not an ace. Jordan Montgomery has been pretty much a disappointment at times this year, 4.23. He's 2-7. Michaelis is 4-2. Montgomery is up and down. And when he pitches great, we have no run support. Same thing happened with Michaelis. He lost the game at Pittsburgh and only gave up 2 runs. I mean, tell me we couldn't put up 2 runs against the Pittsburgh Pirates? Probably not. Didn't happen. Flaherty, as I've told you, one of the major disappointments is Steven Matz. He's 0-6 with a 5.50 ERA. This experiment has run its course. Steven Matz, it was a terrible signing. He hit big on a contract year, had a good year right before he became free agent, and there you go. And then you look at Wainwright, who's 41 years old, and he's 2-1 with a 6.15 ERA. Now, Waino will probably level out and be somewhere 4 something, but he's a 5th starter at best. He is who he is. He's there for veteran leadership. He's Mr. Cardinal. He's the guy that the younger guys can look up to, and he's a professional player. But he's 41 years old. If he was 41 and a lefty like a Jamie Moyer, this would be a different story. He'd be able to at least give you something. And he's going to grind out, and he's going to try to pitch as much as he can. He's pitched 5 games, and he's got he's pitched 26 in a third inning. So he wants to be out there. He's a gamer. He's a competitor. There's no questioning Adam Wainwright's desire to win. The fact is the spirit's willing and the flesh is weak a little bit. Then you have Matthew Liberatore, who we traded Randy Rosarina, who's the biggest scrub-a-dub of all time, right? So Liberatore, who we should be starting instead of Steven Matz consistently, he's 1-1 with a 4.91 ERA. Now he gave up some runs. He was pitching great, and then all of a sudden the wheels kind of came off with him. But he's also 23 years old. I would take my chances with that guy than a guy who's 32. The problem with the Cardinals, as I'm alluding to now, is the fact that the pitching is so bad that when the offense is struggling, like they did in the 3 games at Pittsburgh, where they have 27 runners on base and just leave them all out there and only score 14 runs in their last 6 games, in which they've lost 5 of 6, is the pitching isn't bailing you out. And if you want to make a run for the postseason, you have to have good pitching. Mozeliak has constantly told the Cardinals fan base to be patient. Please be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Everybody just needs to be patient. You know what? We're tired of being patient because we haven't spent the right money. We signed Matt. The right money in the right places for a guy who's going to come in and he's going to deal. We are treading on eggshells with Jack Flaherty. If he's not the guy that we think he is, then there's no sense in doing that. Run him out there, let him throw, use him, because you're probably not going to re-sign him anyway for whatever, because we ain't going to spend the money. The Cardinals are notorious for not wanting to spend the money. And because of this culture of playing this small market baseball in a town that almost sells out every single night for a home game and has Ballpark Village and anything else Cardinals affiliated downtown packed and sold out, just pouring money in left and right for booze and everything else. The way we operate, the way that John Mozeliak operates this team under the ownership of Bill DeWitt, there's a reason why free agents don't want to come here. St. Louis used to be the destination for baseball heaven. And I love going to the Cardinals game, and I love being a part of the tradition and seeing the Red Jackets and seeing the guys on the wall with their retired numbers and all the pennants, the second most winningest franchise in baseball history. But that's the problem. We haven't won in a long time, and now we're getting to the point where it's been a minute. What are we doing about this? What are we changing? If we continue to do things the same and you never make a change but expect different results, is a form of insanity. John Mozeliak and the Cardinals ownership and management have been the epitome of insanity here lately. Be patient. I can't be patient when I'm watching this product that you put on the field for us after you said that we're going to increase spending in the offseason. If you increase spending because of inflation, but come on, let's be real here. We haven't done. You gave Michaelis an extension. You signed Contreras. I'm not saying Contreras is a bad signing. I don't think that he is. I think he's fine, but he is who he is. He's hitting .215. He's got 6 home runs and 26 RBIs. When you don't have other guys who are hitting the ball, bad things happen, and it makes your good hitters look really bad. Case in point, Nolan Arenado. Paul DeYoung, oh yeah, he's great. When he was hitting, we should have traded him. He's hitting .239 now. Okay, that's all falling back to earth. Alec Burleson, gotta go. Jordan Walker should be playing every single stinking day. He should never have got set down. As soon as whoever gets better, just send someone else down. Juan Yepez, he's not there. He's not a full-time DH guy. He's not an outfielder. And everybody talks about Brendan Donovan or Tommy Edman. Pick one, keep one, and trade the other. And let's play Oscar Mercado because he's hitting. What happened to production plays? Well, maybe the calculator doesn't look that way. Put it away. Let's figure out how to do this and turn this around. Okay? It's June now. It's not early. It's late. It's late for trying to make a play and trying to get a playoff push going. We can't rely on saying, well, we're gonna put together a 17-game winning streak like we did a couple years ago, and we're gonna get in the playoffs. That doesn't work. You can't just depend on that. You actually have to do things, and don't just say, well, the players we put out on the field, they need to be the ones doing it. Make some changes, shake things up a bit. Got to fire somebody? Fire somebody. It's good business if it makes the business better by doing that. Trade somebody, DFA somebody, whatever you got to do. This isn't working, and I'm tired of being patient. That's all there is to it. And I think a lot of Cardinals Nation is too. And I think John Mozeliak is definitely missing that one for sure. This has been another episode of Missed Calls. You can catch more from people who are overly opinionated like me on the Coach's Box, which normally goes about every week. Sometimes in the summertime we're a little busy. It's hard to get us all together and get us all scheduled. But make sure you guys tune in for another episode of that. And I will see you guys all again next week. Have a good one.
Are you tired of boring sports talk shows? Then tune in to the Coach's Box. These guys don't just talk sports. They talk about whatever the heck they want to talk about. Watch new episodes of the Coach's Box each week for free on Facebook, YouTube, or the Streamline